Hi guys, I'm Allison Williams. I am chair of the math department, but I'm also chair of the assessment task force, which is why I'm making this video. So I tried to meet with you this term to talk to you about our outcome assessment for our courses and some of the changes we have made. But I have not gotten to speak to everybody, so I'm making this video to update you on those changes. So I did a second video where I actually talked about doing course outcome assessment. If you've never done that before, I'd recommend watching that video first. But this is once you've done course outcome assessment, what to do with that information and what we're expecting from you. So here's what I am going to show you. I'm going to show you our new form. I'm going to show you how to submit the information so that we as a college are collecting it. And then I'm also going to talk to you about the lining up your course outcomes with your program outcomes. That's something we talked about at our in-service this last in-service. But if you weren't there and you haven't had a chance to look at that, I want to talk to you about that too. So let's first start with the program outcomes. I'm going to speak a little bit specifically to mathematics, but I am going to show you where you can find your own program outcomes. So everybody has their course outcomes for their courses, but every class is part of an overarching program as well. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show you where you find the program outcomes for your specific program. So let's go to the website. And here we're going to go ahead and pop into instructional resources under administration. And there is an assessment tab, which has this information. So right here, the assessment tab. So intended discipline learning outcomes, that is where they store our program outcomes. So sometimes they call them discipline, sometimes they call them program, just kind of depends on the context. So if you're part of the arts and letters, this would be your program outcomes right there. If you're part of the cultural literacy, there's a program outcome for you as well. Math is obviously mine. Science or computer science is right there. If you're part of the social sciences, there's the social sciences, speech, oral communication, and writing. Oops, writing has 3, and then informational or information literacy has 5 outcomes. So these are all program outcomes for your specific program. So what you're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and just use math as an example. I take these 2 program outcomes for mathematics. So we have use appropriate mathematics to solve problems. And the second one, which is recognize which math concepts are applicable to a scenario, apply the appropriate math and technology in its analysis, and then accurately interpret, validate, and communicate. So it's like, wow. All right, 2 very different program outcomes. So for us, the first program outcome is really like, here's a problem, try it. Okay. The second one is more of, here's like a scenario, what math are you going to use? And in that scenario case, we're looking, that they actually use the correct math, maybe technology, or maybe it's about interpreting what their results mean. So what we did as a department is here, sorry, let me go ahead and stop the share, is we went into our course outcomes and we assigned each outcome a program outcome to the best of our abilities. Let me just share that with you. And this is going to vary. So like here, this is for Math 211. Math 211, all of these outcomes ended up being program outcome 2, with the exception of the third one. We said it was both. But the idea is that we labeled them for all of our courses. So all of our courses have these program outcomes. And then the more basic courses, we have a lot more 1s and 2s. Ones in here, and so forth. So the idea being that we went ahead and assigned a program outcome for each course outcome, and you need to do that. You need to take a second, line up your program outcomes with your course outcomes to the best of your ability. And it's okay if it's not perfect. It's just a starting point, and it's going to allow us to start program assessment. Now, that's not what you're expected to do right now. What you're expected to do is measure your class course outcomes, okay? That's it. But we want you to save that information for program assessment. So as a math chair, all my math instructors do course outcome assessment on their classes. And what we'll do is we'll take all that information at the end of the year, and I am going to do a program assessment where I'm going to gather up all of our information from what we've lined up to program outcome assessment 1 and 2. And I'm going to talk about what our success rate was, how many students fell into the proficient category or the competent category or the emerging category or the developing category, right? I'm going to look at the breakdown and see overall as a program, are we getting more students in the latter 2 categories, the better categories or not? But that's not what you're doing. You're just getting that information gathered so it can be used in program assessment later. All right, so here's how you're gathering that information. We used to have an Excel document. We've made some changes. We went ahead and changed over to a Word document. So here, let me go ahead and share that with you. Here it is. All right, so here's the new Word document. It's got a lot of the same basic information. We've added some stuff though. So let's go ahead and look through it. You're going to enter all your basic information, the class, the term, how many students got a C or better, how many students finished the class, and then your data. So this is where you're going to take your course outcomes and you're going to paste them right into this slot. So for me, excuse me, I might go ahead and I'm going to actually grab an outcome for you guys because I want you to see how this works. So you're not going to see my screen, just coming over here. All right, so let's see. I have an outcome for my class this term, and I'm going to paste it right here. Okay, so applying a understanding of theoretical foundations of math for K through 8. All right, and I'm going to be using for this particular outcome an exam. So I'm going to be using the final exam. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little X mark there to indicate that I used the final exam or an exam. And then as I've measured my students, I'm going to go ahead and put that information in. Okay, so let's say I'm making this up, by the way. And let's say we had 2. All right, great. So I had 6 students in the class, and that was the breakdown. 1 student got developing, the other one's got competent or proficient. Wonderful. And since I've already lined up my outcomes with the program assessment, I'm going to go ahead and grab the program assessment that would work. So that was program assessment 2. I'm sorry, program outcome 2. And hopefully we're able to see this. All right. And I'll paste that there. Great. So there it is, program outcome 2. And the idea is that now that information can be used for program assessment later on. Okay. And then I'm going to fill it out then for the second outcome and then the third outcome. I'm going to go through this process. At the end, there are some evaluating how it went. So were you comfortable with the wording of the outcomes? Do you feel like they need to be fixed? A lot of us inherited our outcomes from PCC. It's possible you feel like, oh, yeah, they need to be fixed. And you can comment on that right now. You could take a moment, say, I feel like the outcomes don't measure very well because they're written badly. In this part, you could be like, hey, I did a terrible job of assessing them this term. I'm going to change that up and fix it. All right. You're going to go through and evaluate your outcomes, evaluate your assessment, be honest, because the truth is this is for you as an instructor, for you, for your program. This isn't about how successful you are in terms of like, it's going to be a measurement of your success here at the college. It isn't. It's supposed to help you improve for your students' sake. All right. And that's what we're going with it. Once you get that form filled out, you are then going to go and put it in that information into the Jot form. So here, I'm going to come back to the website and back to the same exact place. Administration, instructional resources, and then we're going to go down to the assessment area. That form I just showed you is right here. The OCC course assessment document. If I click on this, it's just going to download the form. So it's not going to be exciting. Here is the Jot form. This is how you get the information to me so that I can see that you've assessed the course. This is the same information in the form. You can literally copy and paste the information. So you'll put the course term, your name, the class, the method of delivery, the number of students who got a C or better, total number of students in the class. Then you'll input the first course outcomes. You copy and paste that in. You'll say what method you used, objective exam for me, and then you enter the emerging versus developing and all of that. All right. So you're entering all the information and including your program outcome. And then at the very end, it has the results. It's exactly what's on the form. You just copy and paste it in. All right. That goes to me so that we know you've done your assessment. So I'm not going through your assessment. I'm not reading what you've done. If you need me to look at it because you'd like some reflection or help, great, I can do that. But I'm not going to be evaluating you or seeing how your results came out. That's for you. And then hopefully for your program. So you guys as a program can grow and make certain that your students are in fact reaching those big overarching goals that you have set. All right. So that's what's expected of you. I'm going to ask that you please complete that this term. As you're wrapping up this term, I'd like you to make sure to get that all submitted. Hang on to the Word document for program outcomes. So whoever is going to do the program outcome assessment, you could send that Word document to, and they have that information to use. And then the JOT form, like I said, is just coming to me. So we have 2 records of it so that have it, clearly indicated that it's been completed, and that's it. That's all there is to it. Hopefully that wasn't too much, and I hopefully didn't confuse you. But thank you so much. I hope that it all goes well. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I want to help you as best I can. Thanks so much. Have a great day.